Welcome back, everyone. Today's game, I'm going to cover game 10 of a First Book of Morphy. Again, we are in a new chapter. Opening rule number 5, make as few pawn moves as possible in the opening. And that's also something I've been talking about in the previous games, how the opponent makes too many pawn moves instead of developing. And therefore, Paul Morphy is able to generate a quick attack and overwhelm the opponent. And by the time the opponent tries to defend, it's too late. All right, so here we have Paul Morphy versus James McConnell, New Orleans, with the French defense. So let's go ahead and go through the game. All right, so e4, e6, d4, d5. Okay, let's see. So it says black's initial pawn move helped the second pawn reach the center with the game's first threat. And then now e5. White stakes out a fifth row of space but does nothing to develop his pieces. Then we have c5. It is easier to knock down a structure by wiping out its foundation and by chiseling at the foundation of the structure. White's center pawns have their base at d4, so black strikes third and also readies his queen to coordinate to b6. c3, knight c6, and then f4. Again, this is by the analysis from Stockfish, this is an inaccuracy. Right now, the explanation from the book is the first really unnecessary pawn move, bolstering the top of the pawn structure. Knight f3 is a better play. So instead of this move, white should play knight f3, defending the pawns. Okay, so we have f4, queen b6, knight f3, bishop d7. The smaller piece develops as well as it can in order to make room for the rook on c8. So this is the next move, right? And again, as we're going to see, trade. Now the rook goes here on c8, and now the rook has the open file. So next is a3. I mean, again, this is by the engine Stockfish, a mistake. The valid idea is to play a3 plus b4, which coerces the c5 pawn to release his tension by moving or capturing, but white ought to postpone that until he develops his pieces. So we're going to come back to this in the analysis. Okay, knight h6. On the way to f5 to coordinate with other black forces against d4. So f5 to attack d4. Okay, then we have b4. C captures d4, C captures d4, rook c8. Black has 5 pieces developed against 1. Bishop b2. Knight f5, and then queen d3. Enabling black to bring more pieces out with checks and captures. Okay, so in this move, again, what would you play here? So the theme is that black has, it's our turn, black has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces developed against 1, 2, 3 from white, right? And white's king is in the center. It says black has a fine lead in development, but advantages in time are fleeting. So before white can catch up in development, black must attack. So how do you attack? With bishop captures on b4 check. The biggest threat by the biggest unused piece, and black's second capture on b4 brings the bishop's replacement forward with another threat. So a captures b4, and then knight captures b4, hitting the queen. So now the queen must move back. So queen d2. It says any queen move along the third rank loses the queen. Okay, so rook c2. So now here is rook c2. Rook c2, more new force, queen d1, and knight e3 traps the queen. And here white resigns. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and recap the game, and then we'll go to the key moments based on the analysis from the from Stockfish. So again, here showing a mistake. And here the best move would be to play a similar, same as black. Queen b3 to trade queens. Right, so now it makes sense, right? The position looks more equal. And at this point, the evaluation bar says it's minus 0.2 for black. So black has a slight edge. Instead, white plays a3 and it's minus 1.3 for black. So black has a better advantage with this move. Knight h6, we continue. Now here it's saying rook c8 is an inaccuracy. That knight f5 was the best move, to go knight f5 first. Okay, and then go with the fork. Take the I guess force white either to capture with the queen or rook, preventing white from castling. Okay. Here it's saying queen d3 by white is a mistake. Queen d2 was the best move, which is the same idea as before, I believe. Or never mind, that's queen b3. So queen d2, let's keep going for this Stockfish line for the best play. And again, here the evaluation gauge is minus 0.4 for black. Instead, we have queen d3 is minus 2 for black. And then here it just says that a captured before is a blunder. So the best move was not to take the bishop, but just to develop your knight to d2. Then, because the bishop already captured the pawn, bishop now takes. Okay, and then black reroutes the knight to a better square on c4. Bishop takes. And now here it says that it is minus 2.1 for black. Instead, with a blunder here, it's minus 4.4 for black. And the rest, I think this is pretty much it. Just another inaccuracy, but again, at this point, white resigns. So again, let me know what you thought of this short game, and I'll see you guys in the next video.